Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. It's great to be on this show where we discuss all things books. Well, Nigerian authors keep churning out books every other week. And when I say Nigerian authors, I mean those abroad and those at home. They just keep writing, and that is so heartwarming. There's a new one which we are going to be introducing to you later on, much later on the show. But here is another one. Beyond the Clock. You know, people have this perception that beauty queens are vain and they're all about looks and all that, but it is quite a wrong notion. And our special guest today, Mmesoma Anosike, might change your perception. She's a beauty queen and she's young. That's another thing. People say people of her generation don't read, they're not intellectual, and so on. Is that really true? Well, let's get to meet with Mmesoma. She goes all spiritual and philosophical in this thought-provoking book titled Beyond the Clock. Let's get to meet with her and enjoy the conversation around her book.
Mmesoma Anosike is a beauty queen, social entrepreneur and author. Mmesoma has emerged as the most beautiful girl in a number of pageantries. Mmesoma is the author of 4 books, including Petting the Pebbles. She joins Channel's Book Club to discuss her latest book, Beyond the Clock.
Mmesoma, nice to have you on Channel's Book Club.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kunle.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Beyond the Clock. Now, you're going to tell us how you moved from beauty pageantry, is that what you call it?
Yeah, beauty pageant.
Okay, to writing a spiritual book. That journey you've got to tell us. That's why I wanted to hear. I was so excited when I heard your story. And, you know, out there, and you will please enlighten us, people have this idea that you beauty queens are vain and, you know, it's all about your looks and all that. And here you are writing a book like this that is so deep. Share a bit of that journey with us. How did you get into pageantry and then move into writing a book of this nature? And then you tell us what the book is about.
Okay, so first of all, beauty queens are way more than the crown. There's a whole lot that goes into beauty pageants. You know, whenever I hear people say, oh, beauty pageant is about this and that, I'm like, you guys should come into the industry. You need to see so many beauty queens, see them for yourself, check their intellectual capacity, the things they've done, and probably the things they go out to do after beauty pageantry. So I started my journey from when I was age 18. Yeah, that was when I started my beauty pageant journey. At first, when I wanted to join, normally, you know, African parents would be like, oh, no. This industry is this, that, they don't want you to, you know, get in there.
Your parents were not exactly excited.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, I know what I want. I know what I'm going into this industry for. I know what I want to get from it. I know the narratives I want to change. And that was how I ventured into it. And luckily for me, I won. I won the first one, I won the second one, and then I won the third one, and also qualified for Miss World Nigeria finalist. And if there's one thing...
So you're a finalist, Miss World Nigeria?
Yeah, this year, 2025, actually. Yeah.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
So were you the first runner-up or
second
runner-up?
I did not win.
Okay, so when you say finalist, the last set from which the winner emerged?
Top 22 finalists.
Oh, fantastic. Incredible. Well done. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, so go on with that story. So what happened next?
Okay, so, you know, during the whole beauty pageant journey, I got inspired to scribble some things to people out there because I got to realize beneath it all, the things you have to do, the process it takes to winning a crown, or the process it takes to literally achieving a dream. And that was when I scribbled my first book titled Petting the Pebbles.
Pets in the Pebbles.
Petting the Pebbles.
Petting the Pebbles.
Yeah, and then the second was Modeling Journal, just to encourage other young girls out there, because I feel they need more good role models out there, people who they can actually look up to, because if the industry is tainted, definitely they need someone with a good narrative, someone who can lead them outrightly the way they should go about it to, you know, getting crowned and being a good role model as well to other people out there. And then I wrote my third book, which is the lovely one you have in your hands,
Beyond the Clock.
Yes.
Coming back to this. But, I mean, it's a very interesting story. I mean, you are a Gen Z, right? And a lot of people think that your generation, they don't read, they don't write, they don't, they don't give so much thought or commitment to intellectualism. It's all about what's on TikTok and all that. I know those are wrong, stereotypical notions. I know that for sure. But that's the general thing you hear about that. And then seeing you taking that path and then right in the middle of it, writing because you want to be a blessing to people and so on, is really inspiring. Well done.
Thank you.
What you said something about a minute ago that a lot of people don't know what it takes to be a beauty pageant. What's the process like?
Okay, first of all, they analyze your character. They check what do you have up there, aside the whole intellectual capacity. How do you behave? How do you treat other people? How kind are you? How do you respond to narratives, pressure, how you handle yourself in public, your poise, and so many other things. So it goes way beyond it, way more beyond it.
Interesting. Okay, well, maybe we'll go back to that later on. But from there to, you've told us how you then thought about writing, and then you came up with your first book, your second book. Before we dive into Beyond the Clock, I'm sure viewers want to know what your first two books are like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the book Petting the Pebbles, I wrote that because during my first trial in pageantry, it was tough. Very tough. It felt like I had so many things to tackle, so many points, like so many things I had to prove that, okay, yes, I am what this. And that first take just taught me that achieving great things in life definitely comes with a lot of persistence and self-realization, because sometimes people go into a journey or start up wanting to acquire something without paying attention to the process. Because I believe the learning that you get to take most times comes from the process and not really that destination. Because when you end up not getting to that your required destination, you beat yourself over it. But then there are some things that you should get from that process. There are so many things, the adventure, the things that grow you up. So I'm trying to, that first book was just to let them know that there are so many self-realization that goes on in that process itself and not just about the destination. And then to as well let them know that when they realize or get to, discover that talent deep within them, they should just go for it. Go for it. And don't pet the pebbles. So that's the term, petting the pebbles.
Interesting. Well, now Beyond the Clock is a very deeply spiritual book. I'll leave you to introduce it. What inspired you to write this, and what's it about?
Okay, so the book Beyond the Clock, the inspiration actually came when I was working in 9 to 5. Yeah, when I was working in 9 to 5, I saw so many people struggling. I saw them rambling. That desperate quest. They keep on complaining. Oh, they don't want to be here.
Running the rat race.
And stuff. And I just felt moved, by the Holy Spirit, write this book, write something about it's way beyond the clock. There are so many things that happen aside just that 9 to 5. There are so many,
apart from the grinding, the everyday grinding.
There are like so many self-realization. And funny enough, that part was just for chapter 1. Then the chapter 2 to 10 was now about the process in that, after the self-realization, the process it takes to actualizing that purpose. Because all through my life, I have, learned the process is not easy. It takes a whole lot. It takes a whole lot of consistency and telling yourself that, okay, you want to be here, you want to do this thing regardless, because there's so many doubts that is going to pry up in the process, and you thought, oh, no, I can't move on. There are so many naysayers, there are so many people that tell you, oh, this is not possible, this is not achievable, and you begin to doubt yourself and quit in the process. So this Beyond the Clock, aside the whole letting them know that there is more that goes in aside just being in the 9-to-5 space, it also would direct them and be their perfect journey companion throughout that purpose process. Yeah.
This speaks about a writer who has encountered God in her own way, you know. You're sharing here, I saw pages here, you're sharing here your own personal spiritual journey.
Yeah.
You know, and then you are trying to encourage readers to perhaps consider the same path, you know, in their own personal journeys. And you are here, reading this book tells me one of the key aspects of your message is that spirituality is important for fulfillment.
Yeah.
Is that a correct
Yes.
summary in a way?
Yeah. You know, most times in life, why so many people probably feel so unfulfilled in their paths. If you've ever gotten to a point where you ask yourself, why is there no joy? Why do I feel so unfulfilled and all of that? It's because there is a misalignment going on in that journey. It's because there is a spiritual misalignment, and it takes going back to where it all began to fix that puzzle for you to be gotten back on track or be aligned on your journey. Because the worst thing that can happen to mankind is growing up and knowing that you did not live out your paths, or you're misaligned, or you're not aligned in the paths of destiny.
That's deep. Okay, now maybe we should just take us through one or two of the chapters in your book. I know your table of content is very small somewhere. Interesting the way you did it here. Oh, here it is. The genesis of transformation. Inadequacy is still perfect.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. Taking off, second guessing,
Yeah.
showing up.
The process.
Yes, you are only human.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to hear that. Finding balance, embodying value, fixing your gaze on the caller as you go, a beginning and an end. Now, I mean, we don't have so much time. Just to tease, you know, our viewers, which of these will you pick and share with us? Which speaks to your heart right now? You just wish everybody should just pay attention to this right now.
Okay, I would say finding balance.
Finding balance. That's chapter 7. Finding balance. What about it?
Okay, so when I started my path, I had so many questions going on in my head. First of all, it started from the pageant journey, and then I got moved to start up an NGO, MMA Foundation. That's its education, literally SDG4. And I kept asking God why all of these things he's making me to do. And then I got into the 9-to-5 space. So it just felt like I was handling quite a lot, and I was trying to find the perfect balance. If there's one compliment I've gotten a whole lot from my friends or people around me, they'll say, how do you do everything
all
together?
These things you're doing.
How do you find that balance? How do you combine it? And I'm like, the only way, the best way to find the balance you seek is truly like just meditating deep within yourself and try to find the way to prioritize the things that matters most to you accordingly. And especially when those are the things that you derive joy from. You don't have to beat yourself over, okay, you did this and you're not able to do that, because you've been able to write down the things, prioritize them, and do the things that give you that inner peace and that inner joy. So at some point when I started up that NGO, I was like, I kept on being nudged to do this, to do that. People were like, okay, why are you using your personal savings for all of these things? Because that's one thing they'll tell you about NGOs. They'll tell you you're not meant to start up an NGO at this age. You should probably wait when you're 30 and you have that enough cash or probably enough sponsors and all. And I'm like, okay, go, why are you making me do all of these things? And at this point now, I now got to realize that those little moments are things that amount to great moments like this. And you get to a point in your life where you begin to now put in all the puzzles and now see why you were, you know, asked to do those things then. And so right now, my NGO is the first purpose-based NGO in the world.
You're helping people to discover their purpose.
Yeah,
and to align
thriving
themselves
in it through provisions. Yeah.
That's incredible. Do you play at all? You're this serious young lady.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I mean, you're writing, running your NGO. The beauty pageantry, you were Miss World Nigeria finalist.
Yeah.
What's next along that line? Is that the end of it?
Oh, no. There are so many things lined up for me. Like currently now, I'm planning a launch for my next book, the Purpose Discovery Workbook for Children.
You got another next book coming up.
Yes, and that one is very, very essential
I think
to
you
everything.
should be mentoring me on how to manage time. Okay, so what's that book about?
All right, so I'm trying to avoid this scenario whereby people grow up and they tend to start figuring life out at age 18. There's just that thing about growing up and you tend to, oh, I'm figuring my life out, have this to do, I have that to do. I need to explore to find what works best for me, probably. So I believe that with this Purpose Discovery Workbook for Children and the parents, they start earlier on time to nurture or, that gift deep within them. They begin to prune
like
it.
Self-discovery,
yes,
and discovering
I
their
believe
parts
with
and all
that
that.
self-practice from a younger age,
When
they
you say
grow
younger
up,
age, like what age?
from age 8, 7, 6, even
So children
younger than that.
Parents need to start helping their children pay attention to self-discovery from
younger
7, 8, 9.
And they prune it, they make them thrive in that industry, and before you know, they are made. You don't need to grow up age 18 and you're asking yourself, okay, what path can I start moving on along? People outside in other countries, I believe there are systems that they create, there are structures they put in place, but when you come to Nigeria, it's not...
At 27, 28, 37, you're still
you grow
discovering
up
yourself.
trying to figure your life out, and there's just that doubts and complexities associated in the journey.
It's incredible. Now, who do you want to read this book, Beyond the Clock? Who should be reading this book?
Okay, this book is literally for every youth. If you fall in the category of youths, if you fall in the category where you have something that has been placed in your heart that you want to fulfill, if you have a purpose that has been laid down in your hands, then this would be the perfect journey companion for them, because I understand the process it takes. I've lived it, I've been inspired, the wisdom is just oozing out, and I'm like, okay, they need this book as their companion. They need it to ride along through that journey, and it makes it easier for them. Every question that they have, it gets answered in the book, literally.
Okay, I'm going to shoot a few questions at you. Short, everything. Okay. We're going to do everything in 1 minute.
Okay.
Short answers, one-word answers, and all that. Favorite author?
Chimamanda Adichie.
Great. Mentor?
Chimamanda Adichie as well.
Oh, wow.
And Pastor Stephanie Cady, a lot of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Next big project?
Launching of my book, Purpose Discovery Workbook.
When is that?
June 11.
This year?
Yeah.
I hope I'll get an IV.
Yes, you will.
Great. All right. Thank you very much, Mmesoma.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you on Channels Book Club.
Likewise, me.
And congrats, Beyond the Clock, your perfect journey companion. Keep writing. You are such an inspiration to not just your generation, even older people, doing so much. Keep going. Well done.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that. Mmesoma's book, Beyond the Clock, is one to read. And so much is coming from people like her across the country, so inspiring young people who are reminding us that there's so much talent, so much energy, and so many things we can learn from them. It's great to have Mmesoma on the show. Up next, there's a new book in town launched by one of Nigeria's foremost intellectuals and educators. Enjoy this.
This gathering is at the instance of renowned academician and author Professor Ladipo Adamolekun. It's the public presentation of his latest book to the media. The new book, titled Reflections on Governance and Development in Nigeria, consists of 239 pages and 14 chapters. It is divided into two parts. Part A, a selection of unpublished papers of the author, while Part B, a selected newspaper essays. Converging here are some former colleagues of Professor Adamolekun in the academics, public servants, as well as media practitioners.
Adopting and faithfully implementing a devolved federation.
In his address, Professor Adamolekun advocates for proper devolution of powers to the subnational levels in Nigeria. According to him, the country should be divided along the 6 geopolitical zones instead of the states. He asserts that a devolved federal system of government will make more impact on the lives of the citizens.
Adopting and faithfully implementing a devolved federation is critical to keeping Nigeria one. It is a fundamental condition for making our multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and multilingual country work. In particular, a devolved federal system is very likely to enhance the ability of central and subnational governments to more effectively deliver goods and services to citizens. In my considered opinion, the reality that the pace of socio-economic development will vary among the federating units is a better outcome than the poor development performance recorded nationwide under the prevailing over-centralization and uniformity.
In his own remarks, the reviewer of the book, Professor Dele Olowu, represented by Okpeyemi Adamolekun, expresses dismay on the poor management of Nigeria's resources, citing the revenue derived from the price deregulation in the oil industry. He commends the author, noting that the book will contribute greatly to knowledge, governance, and development in Nigeria.
The issues raised by this book explain this downward glide, weak citizen engagement, accountability, and ineffective political and administrative leadership and institutions. One clear indication of this worsening situation is the large numbers of young people opting out of the country in the Japa syndrome. Unfortunately, their destinations are also beginning to react negatively to this influx, and in a few cases, led to xenophobic and strong legislative actions. The author could connect to his other writings that engage the points raised in the academic and popular discourse that no nation actually ever developed as a democracy. They developed through undemocratic structures. This enabled them to attain the socioeconomic conditions to then enjoy democracy. In spite of the above observations, this book is an important contribution to knowledge on governance and development in Nigeria and Africa.
Veteran journalist Dare Babarinsa wants Nigerian leaders to be thinkers for them to be able to make good policies and programs that will bring about development in the society. He equally agrees with the author that power should be devolved in Nigeria.
Adamalekun's thought is that, like it happened in the old time, we cannot have progress unless we are guided by thoughts. Progress is not just creation of roads and hospitals and others. It is that people must be guided by philosophies and thoughts. And therefore, there must be what is called the elite consensus. So we can see now that, like it happened in the past, President Trump is also creating a disruption for us, and we don't have an answer for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we should follow the precepts of Professor Adamolekun, that leaders must be thinkers.
The event was an interactive one, as those present had the opportunity to ask questions and make contributions. The new book is dedicated to a close friend of the author of over 6 decades, late Professor Kole Omololu.
This is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Please take time to write us, send us a message, and we will engage you. My name is Olakunle Kasumu. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.